All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to an exciting episode of Dropping the Goal. We don't do many interviews, Tim, but boy, oh boy, when we do, it sure is exciting. We got Dylan Cozens on the shows today, or as his draft would have you guess, it was Dylan Cozens. For whatever reason, they mispronounced his name. So, Dylan, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course, like he had a choice. He knows where to go. Best hockey podcast in Whitehorse, dropping the gloves. So, Dylan, my friend, what are you up to? How's the summer going? What can we fill us in on what you've been up to?
Yeah, right after the season ended, I went to Miami for a bit. Got some nice weather, a little bit of relaxing, and then I've been in London, Ontario for most of the summer training there. That's where I was last in the fall before I went to World Juniors last year. There's a real good group of guys there. So I've enjoyed it there a lot. And then I finally got home for a couple of weeks, which has been good. It's been a long time since I've been home.
Who did you go to Miami with? A couple of the boys from the team? Just get a little vacation after the season?
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of guys from the team that went down there, so just hung out with them.
Just sat by the beach, not wearing a mask. Life was good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got to be fun. Who sets up the London training? Is that through your agency?
Yeah, well, I was just trying to find a place to train last fall before I went to World Juniors, and my agent just talked to Dale and Mark Hunter out there, and they kind of found that group for me to go. There's lots of great players in that group, so I like that spot a lot.
Who do you got skating with there? Because literally London is a hotbed for NHL players. I played with Patrick Kane. I know Dave Bolin was from there. There's so many guys in that area. Who, anybody of note that you can share with us?
Yeah, mostly right now it's been like Bo Horvat, Travis Konechny, Boone Jenner, Lawson Krause, Nick Suzuki, Jordan Kyrou, Ryan Suzuki, Greg McKegg. So it's a pretty good
A
group,
good
and I know
group.
more guys will start coming out. I think close to the season.
So you help. Will you head back there just to get a final push before camp? Is that the game plan?
Yeah, yeah. Head there for a couple weeks and then get down to Buffalo.
So before we started recording, we talked about Whitehorse, how great it is. Do you ever just get annoyed talking about where you're from? It's like you're a hockey player, you're a good hockey player. Does it ever get just painful to be like, oh yeah, I'm from Whitehorse, like let's get over it?
Yeah, during my draft year and stuff, that was kind of the main topic was me being from Whitehorse. So I've definitely done my fair share of interviews about about this place. I love to be from here and represent it, but I did get repetitive a little bit with some of my answers.
It honestly is painful. I am from Traverse. I'm not from Traverse City, but I live in Traverse City. And I had a hard time training and stuff. And I was like, oh, Traverse City, Traverse City. It's like, it's just a city, you guys. It's just a city. But
Yeah,
anyways, moving on. We were trying to get you on the show a couple weeks ago and you were hunting. Now, I'm not a big hunter. I never shot a gun. I've never shot a bow. I fish. Where do you go hunting? What do you hunt for? What does Dylan Cozens do to get ready when you're getting ready for a hunt? Is it just like you go and someone guides you, or are you just on your own?
no, I usually go with my older brother and then a few of his friends. He's been hunting lots, so he knows pretty much everything. So last year we got out for a moose hunt, and I got my first moose, which was pretty sweet. Um, this year we went for rams. Unfortunately, we didn't get one, but it's pretty straightforward. We kind of just pack up all our stuff, pack some tents, and just head into the bush,
And
head
you
into the
literally
mountains.
track a herd of moose, or the rams, are they in herds, or are they just like a lone wolf kind of animal?
They group together a little bit. You got to kind of just get onto like a little hump or something, and then glass them with binoculars or spot and scope. And then once you spot them, then the stock is on.
How is it more fun to stalk or to just glass them and see one coming across, or would you rather to be a challenge? See how I said glass there? Like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No idea what
No,
that means.
the glassing, it gets a little boring sometimes. You'll be sitting there for hours just waiting for something to come through. But once you finally spot one, then, the adrenaline starts pumping. You start, creeping up, trying to get a shot on them. And that's the fun part, just trying to stay as quiet as possible and not spooking them.
What's the longest shot you've ever had?
My moose was about 350 to 400 yards.
No kidding. And where did you hit it dead in the heart? Where'd you hit it?
I got him in the lungs.
No kidding. That's an ideal shot. For those of you who don't know, me and Dylan know that's a heck of a shot. So do you just hunt the whole time, or is there any extracurricular? You bring a deck of cards, maybe
Oh
some libations, a couple cocktails here and there. What's the nightlife like up in the forest with your brother?
yeah. Well, once it gets dark, we usually play some crib.
Oh, you
Maybe,
play cribbage?
yeah, we play lots of crib. That's
Why
what
do
we
you call it
do.
crib instead of cribbage?
Cribbage either. I don't know. Just easy.
Dylan,
Yeah, I
is that what
guess.
you guys did? You guys play that on the bus on the plane last year?
Not too much of that. No.
Dylan, come on, you're killing me. What do you guys do for fun then when you're on the bus or the plane?
Hey, I didn't really. I was a rookie. I didn't really get into any of that. Get into the cards and stuff too much this year.
You just sat on the back of the bus and
Well,
was quiet.
all of our flights were pretty short, so I mean, you really throw one Netflix episode up and you've already arrived at the destination.
All right. Not very exciting.
So Dylan, I don't want to beat the Yukon thing to death, like you said, but I am curious, like growing up and what was hockey like in your community, and at what age did you realize you knew you'd have to like get out of town in order to be challenged and develop as a player?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kids that loved hockey up here, but there just wasn't. We didn't have the population, so there was a one rep team for each division. So say you played on the Pee Wee rep team, you'd play in the Bantam House League. So you play against older guys in the House League. But then once you got to a certain age, Bantam, the Bantam rep team would play in the Men's Rec League. So I was Pee Wee age. I was playing on the Bantam rep team in the Men's Rec League when I was 12 years old, and I ended up breaking my leg because a guy took me out going into the boards. So I mean, that's kind of when I knew it was time to head down south, find a
Well,
better
I
place
don't
to play.
blame him either, because if this young hotshot kid who was 12 years old was out there outplaying me, I'm taking your leg out, Dylan. Like, you know what I mean? So you don't want to be embarrassed
Fair enough.
15 times. But so you said you knew it was time to move on. Was that how? I never left home early. I didn't have that opportunity. How tough was that to just be like, listen, we got to go. We got to move. Did you feel selfish at all? Did you feel like, why am I doing this to my family? What kind of thoughts were going through your head when you had to do that big move?
I mean, so I moved away when I was 14.
Yeah.
And it was something we knew had to happen if I wanted to pursue hockey. I wanted to get my name out there before the WHL draft. So, I could have the opportunity to play in the WHL. And it was obviously tough on my parents to let me go at 14, but it was a necessity. So, I mean, I liked it. I had fun down in lower mainland of Vancouver area. And, it was fun to just play some competitive hockey.
So yeah, that was in Delta, right? Then you get drafted by Lethbridge. You have 2 solid years there. Then you enter the NHL draft. You were projected, I think you were the 3rd Canadian skater at a time. You were going to go pretty high. What was your thought process going into the draft? People had you pegged as high as the Chicago Blackhawks, another one of my former teams. What was your mindset? Did you talk to all those top 10 teams? Did you get any indication from a team maybe they might pick you? What was going on? Or did you know, like, okay, the Sabres are going to take me and nobody else wanted me?
No, I really had no idea. I mean, my agent, he knew some of the teams that were interested, but at the end of the day, you never really know. So it was like, maybe this team will take you, maybe this team. And he actually thought that Buffalo wasn't going to take me. And so it was actually a surprise when they called me. So I was excited for that.
So you're sitting in the stands, your parents are there, your brothers are there. When do you get nervous? Are you nervous after the 3rd pick, the 4th pick, the 5th pick, the 6th pick? You don't want to be like one of those guys in the green room who doesn't get picked and you got to walk home with your tail between the legs. Do you get nervous, or do you just, it's going to happen when it's going to happen?
I mean, I think everyone knew the pick 1 and 2 were pretty set in stone, for sure. So once that 3rd pick came around, I mean, that's one of the teams I knew I had a chance to go to, Chicago. So that's when I started getting nervous. And I mean, I was nervous until I got picked, but I was still super excited, but very relieved that my name got called.
You obviously play a pretty physical game. Like, were there certain players that you sort of modeled yourself after, and who were those guys you kind of idolized growing up?
I mean, one guy I've loved to watch is just Nathan McKinnon. I mean, I want to resemble my game as close to him as possible. Just his explosiveness and, his the way he controls the play and can, make a scoring chance out of anything. He's just a guy that, I love to watch and learn from.
And then like the fighting thing, we're gonna touch about that a little bit. Like a couple of your fights, and John, I'm sure wants to ask, but like, was that something that was always part of your game, or did you kind of like develop that as you got older?
I mean, I had one fight in the Western League, and it was in a preseason game. So, I mean, I've always kind of had that edge. I didn't really want to fight in WHL in case I, like got hurt before World Juniors or something. Doing that, it wasn't really worth it there. But I've always been, knowing that I could fight at some point, and I'm always ready to if I have to. But I mean, this year, I think it was something I wanted to do to kind of earn that respect. And especially with the slump we went through, I think, I just wanted to show that, like I cared a lot, and I wanted to do whatever I could to bring some energy or something to the team.
Did you think you were going to get that kind of reaction after your first fight? Because you fought Lindgren against the Rangers. It was a good fight. You did well. Like, you handled yourself really well. Did you expect to have reaction that it had? We had Reinhardt speaking about you, had Okposo, everybody, the coach was like, it was the greatest fight ever. Like, this kid's amazing. He's just like he's a man today. Were you surprised to see the reaction of those guys?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I didn't know it was going to blow up that much. I mean, I think there's, that side to me might not be as visible as I think it is, I guess. Maybe people didn't expect that to happen. But I know that's a side to me that I've always had. I don't want to do that all the time. I want to bring other parts of my game. But, I mean, it did have a pretty big reaction, but I didn't really expect it to be that big.
Well, obviously, I think the guys respected that. You're a young kid, and it's huge when a guy does that. And the Sabres, I think the one knock on them last year and then going forward in the future is you weren't a hard team to play against. Gergie was injured last year, Zemgus Girgensson. You were a guy who brought it every night. That's why. Where did you get this nickname, the workhorse from Whitehorse? Did you come up with that one? Do you have that tattooed on your body somewhere?
No, I definitely did not come up with that one. I think that started at World Juniors. It's definitely got worn out a bit, though. I think it's been a little bit overused this year. I'm hoping it's been left in the past for this upcoming season, but we'll see.
Never. It's never gonna be left in the past. It's just it's your thing. It's like Dylan Cozens. You could win 10 Stanley Cups, but did you hear he's from Whitehorse? Very, very interesting fact about him. But with going forward, you're projected to be potentially a first-line centerman. It's either you or Casey. You guys are a core for this team moving forward. Do you think that's still going to be a part of your game? Has Donnie Granato sat you down and be like, what, we don't want you fighting? You only got in 2 fights last year. I know it's not a big deal, but you do play that sort of game where you're going to get in these situations where guys are going to challenge you. Like, are you? What is your mindset going into a situation like that? If just say, you hit me in the corner, I turn, I'm like, let's go, kid. Come on, workhorse. Let's see what you're made of.
I mean, I don't want that to be my only identity is that. Like, I want to be able to, score goals and, help offensively, but I always want to have that edge to my game, where I'm not scared of anyone. I mean, there's obviously some guys I would never want to fight in the NHL, but I always want to have that edge to my game. And I'll fight if the time's right, but I'm not going to go out of my way to find fights. That's not who I am.
Oh, I think they're going to find you because the way you play, like we talked to Marty Biron, like I mentioned earlier. Every time we would talk to somebody about the Sabres, there's so much negative to focus on. There's so much stuff that, is just not going right. Obviously, they haven't had a span of good play, but the one thing that stood out, everyone was like, you got to watch this Dylan Cozens kid. He's bringing it every night. He's playing well. He's doing the things that you want to see a player to do to kind of turn the culture, make things go right. Do you feel that kind of pressure? Do you get a sense for that where it's like, okay, like we're in a rough spot. People are looking at me. Do you get that kind of responsibility?
Yeah, I think one part of my game that I've always had is I want to lead by example, and I want to play the right way. No matter how things are going, I think that's something I can do, is just, always play the right way and lead in that sense. I mean, that's if everyone, even if it helps one guy play the right way, I think it'll make our team, even a little better. And then people see him doing that, then it'll just make us even better. So I think if, I just play that way, it can, maybe lead by example and show guys, this is what we need to do to be a hard team to play against.
I mean, talking about playing the right way, like 2 fights you had, one of them was, third period down a goal. I'm assuming you're trying to get the boys going a little bit. And then the other one was a response to a boarding on your line mate there that you obviously didn't like and took exception to. So it's cool like that situational awareness, not looking for it, but when it's time to fight, you're going to drop them. I guess my question is, like, have you had any of those, any guys on the ice try to ask you to fight, or it's like in a totally wrong situation, you're rejecting it, or has that not happened yet?
No, nobody's asked me to go yet.
It'll happen.
I don't think.
Tim, he's the workhorse from Whitehorse. They're terrified of him.
No, I don't think anyone wants to, ask the 19-year-old to go first. I'm 20 now, but at some point throughout the season, I don't think anyone really wants to challenge the young kid.
See, that's where the game's changed, because I would go out of my way to challenge every single rookie on the ice. I'm like, I'm going to beat the doors off some 19-year-old. It might as well be you. The game's changed. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit different now. But moving forward, speaking of the game's changed, we'll touch on the Sabres, because you're a Buffalo Sabre. You're an NHL player. You played 41 games last year. You're a bona fide NHL player. You traded away Reese, though. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago. You traded away Reinhart. The whole Eichel situation, I'm not going to go into that. Who knows if he's going to be on the team next year? He's injured. That's up in the air. You traded away your starting goaltender in Allmark. You've signed some, decent pieces. I think Kevin Adams has done a great job this offseason. I'll be the first to say it. Where does this team stand going into this next season? Everyone's saying rebuild, we're retooling, we're rebuilding. We're going to build the team around the young core. We're going to build it around Cozens and Middlestead and Olofsson and Bjork and
Dahlin.
Dahlin. What's going to happen next year in Buffalo? I know you're not a mind reader. You don't have the magic 8-ball. Where do you see you guys land? Because you're literally in the murderer's row division. There's so many good teams in this division. What's your mindset going into this season?
Yeah, I think obviously lots of people have very low expectations for us. They think we're, going to be, last place again. But I don't think we see that for ourselves. I think we could come out and surprise a lot of people. Even after the trade deadline last year, when we moved some of our older guys and the younger guys got a little bit more opportunity, I think, our record was better. We started beating like Pittsburgh, Boston, Washington. Like we were beating those teams. So I think, we could surprise a lot of people this year.
So you mentioned the second half of the season, Jack got hurt. You got thrust into this role as a first-line centerman. You got to play against those players. You got to play against the Bergeron, the Crosbys. How did that affect your game? Was that just you were starstruck? Because, listen, these guys are la creme de la creme. Tim's a Bruins fan. He, sleeps with a Bergeron pillow. Was it overwhelming, or was it fun to be like, listen, I can keep up with these boys?
Oh, it was so fun. I mean, just to line up against those guys for, the whole game and match up against them. It is a little surreal, like playing against those guys, knowing I was idolizing them just years ago. So, but I think it does push me that little extra gear just to shut them down or whatever. But I think it is exciting playing against those guys for sure.
We've asked a lot of players this. Like, a lot of guys seem to have their welcome to the NHL moment, whether it's like their first shift and they just get decked by Nick Cronwall or something. Or have you had like a moment like that where like someone talked to you, someone hit you, someone scored on you, would turn you inside out or something?
I mean, my first game was against Washington, and it was in warm-ups, and I just looked the other way and I saw Ovi with no helmet on skating towards me, and I was like, holy, that's Alex Ovechkin. Like, this is real. I'm in the NHL now. So that was the moment, I think, that it truly kind of set in when I just saw him on the other side of the ice.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I would be pretty starstruck too. And then, like, obviously you tough season, long season, even in a shortened year, I'm sure that, those are some tough games to lose. Who was the guy in the room that sort of kept things light, kind of kept things positive and kind of looking forward to the next game?
Yeah, I mean, as much as our like it looked like it would be horrible in the room last year. I mean, it wasn't. Like, guys, we kept a positive mindset, even at times maybe shouldn't have. We should have been maybe harder on ourselves. But I mean, everyone in the room, like we weren't scared to come to the rink the next day, or like we weren't like we still woke up and were like, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I was still excited to come to the rink. And it wasn't like it was depressing in there. Like everyone just kept a good mindset, and I think it was nice to come to the rink too, but maybe at times we could have been like, okay, like we've lost how many games in a row, we got to figure this out here. So, but I mean, nobody got down on each other too hard.
That's the hardest part, Tim, about being on a team that is just losing. Like, and it was why I was with the Sabres. We lost a lot of games, but you find little things to be happy about. You find little things to do that kind of make going to the rink enjoyable, because if you don't want to go to the rink, it's gonna show on the ice. Like, the game will be even worse than it actually is. And it's just, I don't know, you got to find that. When I was in Buffalo, we had a trainer, I think he's still there, Georgie Babcock. He was one of the guys who would just lighten the mood. He would come in and be like, oh, guess what? He would eat a urinal cake just to get the boys going. Like, he was an absolute animal. How was Georgie last year?
Yeah, he's great. I mean, everyone loves him. He's a little bit crazy, but I think that's why everyone likes him. Yeah, he's always speaking his mind, and he's not scared to do some crazy things to get the boys going.
So did you guys have a rookie party because of COVID, or did you end up having to buy dinner for the fellas? Did anything happen?
I have not yet, no.
Is there plans this year to have a rookie party? Because you're not allowed to skate on that.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll make me pay for my rookie dinner this year.
You didn't have a rookie? That's incredible.
I mean, we couldn't do anything really. I mean,
not even just going out for grab a room. That's incredible. Okay. So for those listeners, a rookie party is where you blow it out. You blow the doors out. You get the rookies to buy you dinner. My rookie party, I think we had 5 rookies paying, and I think each of us paid $7,000. Like, it was an insane bill. And the painful thing is it's your rookie contract. Dylan's got millions of dollars now in the bank. He's not even gonna phase him. He's so popular and rich and handsome. Look at his teeth. It's disgusting, this kid. I don't even want to talk to him anymore. But so no rookie party. Was it weird having your first NHL season being like COVID lockdown where you couldn't leave the hotel? Did you feel like you were missing out on some stuff?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, the guys would tell me, just wait till next year. Like, this is pretty much like a wash. You haven't even experienced the NHL yet. So it was, I mean, I obviously was happy to be playing in the NHL. But, I never expected my first year to be like that, where we couldn't even have a dinner on the road or anything. But I was still very grateful to be playing in the league. So I'm excited for this year to see what I've missed out on.
So what did you guys do then? Was it just video games in the hotels, or like what was the main form of entertainment?
Yeah, a lot of guys would bring their, gaming laptops or consoles on the road, and we'd play video games together. And there's player lounges we could hang out in with ping pong, cornhole, or whatever. So, I mean, we'd hang out there, play cards a bit. But other than that, it was pretty much just hang out in your rooms, maybe go for a walk.
Did you have a roommate?
No, we didn't have roommates this year because of COVID.
Oh boy. And that's another thing. These kids are so spoiled. Your own room? It's incredible. I didn't have my own room until I think year 5. That's amazing. Good for you, Dylan.
I think it'll go back to normal this year though, with roommates.
Oh, with the
At least
COVID,
for the guys on entry level, yeah. That's why.
Because you're gonna give each other COVID. That's so funny. But you could sit next to each other in the locker room. That makes sense. I'm not a scientist, but I don't understand it. So looking back on your first year, you had that one injury where you just got absolutely destroyed by Reese. Holy moly, that was a hit. And you bounced back. You had a good season. What was the negative? What do you think you could have did better on? Is when you look back, it's like, gosh, I need to work on this offseason.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting shots off in tight areas. I mean, that's how, you watch the goal scorers in the league. That's how they score goals. Just, getting those awkward shots off. And so I think that's been a big focus for me this off season, and just even shooting the puck. There's times I should shoot the puck where, maybe I tried to make a pass to a guy. But that's the biggest thing for me. I want to be a goal scorer in this league. So just, working on getting those awkward shots off has been my focus.
I was just going to ask, are you going to be a goal scorer or a disher? Because you can do a little bit of both. You know what I mean? We saw it this last season. The goals you did score, they were top shelf. Like, they were some pretty nice goals. Your first goal versus Washington was a great shot. You're playing. They have you projected playing with Olofsson, Bjork, who you picked up from Boston, who are some pretty good shooters. Ideal world, are you, like you said, a goal scorer or a playmaking centerman?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can play both sides of that game. If I'm playing with Olofsson, obviously that guy's got a ridiculous shot. I'm going to try
You
and get him
mentioned
the
the
puck.
quick shot. He's got the best release in the league, I would think. He's right up there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just watching that guy shoot the puck, it's crazy. So, if I'm playing with him, I'm going to be trying to get him the puck as much as I can. So I think I can play, both sides, playmaker and goal scorer.
So I know you didn't want to touch on this, but you're best friends with Kevin Adams. Can we confirm that Eichel's being traded this week? Can we just go ahead and tell our fans and what the deal is for, Dylan?
I had no comment there.
I'm just teasing. Well, we do a fun little thing at the end of the show. It's quick hits. Who did we have on last time? Mo Sider. Have you ever had Moritz Sider?
Risto, Ryan
he was
Graves.
drafted one pick in front of you, maybe.
Yeah.
His answers were incredible. So I think you're from Whitehorse, I've heard, and I heard people from Whitehorse have a great sense of humor and are just very bright. So Tim, take it away. Give us some quick hit questions here.
Yeah, quick hits, kind of rapid fire answers. All right. So First one, what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh,
you're a hunter, so I assume you've had some
like elk
up there.
Elk heart.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was gonna say moose heart probably.
Moose heart. A real one right in the bush?
Yeah, I mean, you cook it up and it's not a bad meal.
In the bush, you cooked up a moose heart.
No. We kept the moose heart, brought it back, and then.
But you cooked it though.
You cooked it.
I don't think it's that. Yeah, we cooked it. I don't think it's that rare of a thing.
No, well, I've never heard of that. But why the heart? How did it taste?
It's not my favorite. I don't think I'll do it again. But it's kind of the rule on your first animal. You got to take a bite out of the heart.
And how did it taste? Was it good? Good texture?
No, not a good texture really. It's pretty chewy.
I ate, Tim, I don't know if I ever told you this. I went to Norway a few years back and I ate whale. And I tell you what, it was pretty good. And not bad. And I would highly recommend it. I felt very strong, virile afterwards. I've had, one of the best things I've ever eaten. All right. Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
What app do you use the most on your phone?
Probably Instagram. I don't really post much, but I like to see what's going on.
He likes to creep. Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Are you binging any TV shows right now?
I'm actually not. I'm in the need of a TV show. I just recently finished Vikings, though. That was a good one.
That looks good. Yeah, it's on my list too. Are you a car guy? Do you have a dream car?
I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to drive a Lamborghini. So we'll see if that ever happens. I don't really know if the roads in Buffalo could handle that, or if the car could handle the Buffalo roads. But
I think it's both.
We'll
the potholes in Buffalo are real.
Yeah.
The highways are terrible.
Yeah, maybe when the second contract kicks in. Do you have any guilty pleasure music?
No, I wouldn't say so.
What does that mean, guilty pleasure?
Like something you wouldn't want people to know you listen to. Like, I don't know, Kesha or
like a Justin Bieber.
No, people like him. Britney Spears.
He doesn't know who Britney Spears is, and he's 20 years old for Pete's sake, Tim.
I mean, some music I do listen to get me fired up. Sometimes I just throw on some Viking music before games. That gets me, in a good mindset.
What's Viking music?
Look it up. I mean, it's just
sing a little Viking music, Dylan. Come on.
No, I can't.
Is it like the Viking metal or like traditional Viking chants and stuff?
Like the chants and
wow
and all that. Like it's pretty cool. I mean, it gets me in the zone.
Does it really? Interesting. All right. Wow. Well, that was a
All
good
right.
answer. I like that.
Couple more. What's your favorite sports besides hockey?
Baseball.
Did you know there's a football player named Dylan Cozens?
I do. He was a baseball player before, but now he's trying to go pro in football.
What?
Yeah, he's played for the Phillies.
And now he's going to be a football player.
Yeah.
He's like the Deion Sanders I didn't know about, Tim. That's amazing.
I didn't know that either. Was it spelled the same way too?
Exact
Yeah,
same way.
Exact. And he's from Whitehorse.
All right, last question. What's the best advice you ever got?
I think my dad always kind of had this quote printed out on his work offices: "Don't whine, don't complain, just do it." I think that's a good one that he kind of put onto me when I was young.
I stinking love that quote. You're going to fit right in with Buffalo. It's going to be great when the fans are back and they're going to see how you play. You're going to be a hit in Buffalo because that is their mantra to a T. It's a blue-collar town. They just love a hard worker. What can we expect from the Sabres this year? Obviously, we touched on how the expectations are so low, which means you can surprise a lot of people. Where do we see this team in 2, 3, 5 years?
Yeah, I think down the road, I think we have one of the brightest futures in the league, if not the brightest. So I think, in years from now, I think we can be a contender. I mean, that's the goal. That's, what everyone else believes on our team. And we expect nothing less. We want to be a contender, in a few years from now.
Dahlin got a rough ride his first few years, and he had so much hype coming into the NHL. He was obviously the number 1 overall pick. And can you just touch on how good he is? Because I don't think people know how good this kid is.
This Rasmus Dahlin he's so good. I mean, that last second half of the season last year, I mean, he showed right there like what he's all about. This guy, even in practice, the moves he pulls off and just how silky he is, his hands, his everything. He's unbelievable. I think, he's going to be a top defenseman in the league for sure.
I would think so. And I think you're going to be a top forward in this league, Dylan. I truly believe that. You don't only have a good demeanor, you have a killer nickname, and you're a great, great guy to interview. So listen, I appreciate it. You probably went back to wrestling moose up in the Yukon. I love it. Thanks for jumping on the show, my friend. Have a good season. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good one. Cheers.